Hi, in this video we will talk about a very basic microservice architecture using Spring Cloud. So first of all, what is Spring Cloud? Spring Cloud is a framework provided by Spring which provides us various components that help in building a microservice architecture. Here we will discuss the three most basic components of Spring Cloud: service discovery, config server, and gateway. Now let us discuss these three components one by one. Service discovery. This is also called as Eureka Service Registry. We can understand it as a central place where all the microservices in your project will register themselves. It provides us a dashboard where we can see all the microservices and their status in your project. It acts as a medium using which microservices communicate with each other. Second is config server. This is also known as Spring Cloud Config Server. It is a central place where we define all the configurations of the project. All the microservices read required configuration from config server. The advantage of this is all the configuration is available at one place and it makes us easy to add or modify the configurations. Also, we can integrate GitHub or any other cloud repository with config server and can put the project configuration on GitHub and can read from there. Gateway. This is also called as Spring Cloud Gateway. It acts as a front wall for all the microservices. All the requests will pass through this gateway and it is the responsibility of gateway to redirect the request to the respective microservice according to the request. One of the most common advantage of gateway is that we can add Spring security at gateway. So it will filter out unauthenticated request at front layer only. So finally, this is our basic architecture of microservices using Spring Cloud. Here we have three microservices: order service, user service, and payment service. As we can see from the diagram, all these three services are registered to service registry. Next, we have config server and API gateway, which are also registered to service registry. So one thing that is clear from the diagrams is all the components are registered to service registry. So this is the only way by which microservices can communicate to each other. And one of the most common aspect is like API gateway and config server. These are also connected to service registry. So all the project configurations are defined in config server. So these config properties can be read from config server by all the microservices. Now the request will come from front end to API gateway. Then as per the request, it will redirect to respective microservice. So if the request is for user service, then API gateway will redirect the request to user service. If the request is for payment service, then API gateway will redirect the request to payment service. So this was all about a very basic architecture of microservice using Spring Cloud.